You have on the interior of your defensive line guys coming back.
Correct.
And guys tend to get better as
Correct.
they play. You see that in the guys that are coming back?
Yes, definitely. I thought they played well last year for freshmen.
More freshmen.
Freshmen, I thought they did a great job. Young first-year players.
Right.
I thought they played decent, obviously, but I see a big improvement. They had a great offseason.
New guys coming in, you see anybody that
Garrett Goebel's down in there. He's going to be a really good football player for us, and he's probably the one freshman inside. The rest of them are all defensive ends, but really look good.
Yep. Lawrence Wilson.
Lawrence having a good camp so far. He's back. He looks 100%.
How about the other guys on the edge? Who you see?
Look, Thaddeus, of course, had a good spring. And, he had a good summer. He can run. He gives us a little bit of speed off the edge. I think he looks good. Cameron's playing, defensive end. And he's physical. Type defensive end. He's doing well. Rob Rose is back. He was out.
That's the guy I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, he had the 2 surgeries and both shoulders, and so he's missed spring, and that was valuable time. But I think he'll.
You see him more on the edge or inside?
He's going to do both.
He's going to be like your Kenny Peterson.
Yes. Him and Cam both have that ability to kind of help us out inside and on passing downs or whatever, and, play on the edge and run downs. But they're similar.
We saw this talk about the spread and defending the spread. And I had a chance to have a nice chat with the head coach about the spread and what it does to defenses. And essentially, he said it just makes it tough to tackle. Because you've got to make tackles in space.
Right.
I mean, that's essentially what it does.
Yeah, they get you one-on-one in space, and if they got a quarterback, it gives them an extra runner.
Right.
And it gives them an extra blocker is what it gives them.
It takes away the personnel advantage that the defense used to have. But does that not make tackling the football scheme?
Definitely.
Premium.
Critical. Tackling's critical. It always has been, but whether it's the option or whatever phase of football it is, but this one maybe even more so because you're in space and they're playing with a lot of great athletes. They're getting a lot of athletes on the field.
And I know that sounds like the dumb, obvious question, but the reason I asked it is because we have a lot of people now that are kind of focused on 40 times, how fast can they run, how agile are they, but really, basically, it's like how physical and sure you can be with a tackle that makes the difference in the defense, is it not?
Right. And each one of the thing is the spreads are all different. We played 7 spread offenses last year, and then you've got some that like to run the ball, some that throw the ball, and then you got some that have a quarterback that can run the ball, which is a different, so we've seen it, and really, Purdue's been running it forever, and Northwestern's been running it. It's not a totally new thing. I think they've added to it, I think, Urban Meyer, and they've added a lot to it with different formations, and they give you a lot of different looks, and then the different tempos, and there's a lot of aspects to the spread, and each week it's a little bit different.
And I got one last thing I want to talk to you about, and that's the problems posed to a defense by the no huddle.
It depends on the speed of the no huddle.
Fast now.
A lot of, most of the no huddles aren't a big factor because, they're look, and they're not snapping the ball until the end of the time anyway. So it's not, they're at the line of scrimmage and they're trying to, call the game from the press box, but it's not an issue. Now, the problem with the no huddle is they have different tempos, and when they get into NASCAR or whatever they call it, speed up tempo, then all of a sudden you gotta be ready to go. So it's kind of it's the change of it.
Is the tempo of the game? Are you talking about like the conditioning factor, where or not? But what I'm thinking about is getting packages, personnel packages. Does it make it tough to do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you have to be a little bit more simplistic. Yeah, you have to be a lot more simplistic, I think.
And that's what I was getting at. Is that, does that require now a defense to have guys on the field that are more versatile?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't separate.
It's almost like you're back to where we used to be, where you play your 11 best players, and you don't get into the nickel, the dime, passing. They're coming out in a passing formation. And the other thing that everybody's doing, you'll see SC do it. You'll see our people. Youngstown did it last year. They come out in a certain personnel grouping, and with 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and a wide receiver, and thinking it's a power offense, and then they'll spread everybody out and be a spread offense. So, the personnel grouping doesn't necessarily dictate the formation they're going to be in. So it's, the offenses have become gurus.
That coach up at Youngstown.
I don't believe that. Not going there.